The Young Bucks are trolling the story that we dropped last week about them infighting between the EVPs of AEW. So the story I talked about last week was about infighting, the rumor being that the EVPs, Cody, the Bucks, Omega, there were some issues between them, and that's why a major star doesn't want to go there because of those rumors. So they responded to those rumors that are out there in the dirt sheets right now. So let's get to this first story in the wrestling news and rumors, and the Young Bucks react to AEW EVP infighting rumor. So obviously we talked about it last week. This past, last Tuesday was the Way to Kill a Pro Wrestling podcast, Torch, and they talked about the infighting. Remember, they said they're going to learn there's a very short honeymoon period there was between certain key members of the company who aren't even on talking to each other anymore. So since the rumor has begun making the rounds, the Young Bucks posted a new bio on their Twitter account that says currently not on speaking terms. So is this them kind of, calling out the story as false? Could be. I mean, it comes from the sheets. So most of the times I think it is false, but could there be issues between them? Now, Meltzer will talk about the relationship between the Bucks and Omega as close friends, but with Rhodes is more of a business relationship between the three. So they're trolling. They're obviously putting it out there because they're always breaking that fourth wall when it comes to pro wrestling and bringing up the stuff that happens in the dirt sheets on certain things like that. So it makes total sense why they would do it, because that rumor is out there. And if there is any validity to the rumor, we don't know. But them putting that in the Twitter bio doesn't mean that there isn't validity to the story. It could be them just playing it up and causing commotion in the sheets and all that stuff like that. So it makes total sense why they do it, because they are trolling probably this, and they're close friends with Meltzer. So if Meltzer probably knows the truth, then it's probably true because he is close with the Bucks. So we could see this changing form in the next couple of days. We'll see what happens, but I totally believe that the Bucks and Omega are close. And like I said last week, I think the issue is with Cody than anything else. And it could be they don't talk Cody personally anymore. They just talk to him only about business and nothing personal. Maybe they never had that relationship to begin with. It was just more of a personal respect and that sort of nature of a relationship between them and Cody. So it could just be that, and they're just playing it up like people are, the sheets are saying that we're not talking anymore, but we never were that close to begin with. We're just there in terms of a relationship between when it comes to business. So funny little things from the Bucks here when it comes to that story that we talked about last week. Next thing here, WWE reportedly working on new sets for both brands. So WWE always likes to change up their entrance sets. They've done it a million times before. They changed it up big time for SmackDown first showing up on Fox. They did it for the brand splits. They did it for the Thunderdome, then in the Tropicana field. Then when they went to the new stadium, the campus of University of South Florida, they changed it up, made it a little bit smaller, the entrance, to fit more video boards around it. Now, there's reported today by Andrew Zarian of Mat Men Podcast, WWE is working on new sets for Raw and SmackDown. This apparently it goes to the return of fans at events in the summer, but that hasn't been confirmed or anything like that. So we'll see. They probably are working. I mean, obviously, because now since everybody's been accustomed to seeing the Thunderdome over the past year and a half, so they're obviously going to change it up for when they eventually let fans in and make it probably a different look, just to spice things up and change everything up for fans coming back finally for the summer. When they're talking about those live shows being held on a Friday in July, and then the weekend show, and then the Monday show. It seems like two Monday Night Raw and a Friday SmackDown, and two house shows in the middle. So they're obviously going to change up the look of everything, because it's going to feel fresh, going to feel new, going to feel excitement. So I think this is probably the best thing for Monday Night Raw, is waiting for fans to come back, because the excitement of just seeing that, not even what's happening on the show itself, but what happens with the fans actually being there may make you want to watch Raw, make Raw tolerable for the first time. But I always like seeing the sets. I always like, during the Attitude Era, where the sets always look themed and different for every pay-per-view. They don't do that pretty much anymore, unless it's WrestleMania, which kind of sucks. But I used to love that back in the day, where those themed pay-per-views, the Backlash with the big hooks flying back and forth, all that cool stuff, the Royal Rumble sets, Survivor Series sets, all that stuff. I hope they go back to that eventually. I doubt it, but I am excited to see what the new set's like, because I'm a big set guy. I like the way that the production and the way they construct the sets and everything like that. This is next story here, and it's all about last night's Wrestlemania Backlash match, the Lumberjack match, which we thought was gonna be or like a generic Lumberjack match that we've seen a million times before, but ended up being a play into the movie Army of the Dead that stars Dave Batista. And we saw the zombies in the Lumberjacks locker room when John Morrison opened the door. You saw the zombies in there, and the zombies, they were heavily involved in that Lumberjack match all over the place. They ended up eating The Miz and John Morrison, while Damian Priest got the win. At one point, Damian Priest and Miz are both fighting off all the zombies involved. it was interesting to say the least. So Chris Jericho blasts WWE for Zombies Lumberjack match. Jericho tweeted late Sunday night, zombies question mark. Wow, that just set wrestling back 30 years. There's a tweet right there. Yeah, he's right. I mean, I don't know about 30 years, but it's ridiculous. I mean, because you built it up as a serious storyline rather than kind of building up that it was going to be in partnership with Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead and a partnership between the brands right there. You should have brought that up beforehand, before the pay-per-view, so that people wouldn't be so shocked and appalled by what they saw, that you took the storyline as serious enough that you went into the pay-per-view thinking it was going to be a serious match. Even if it was a lumberjack match, it's a bit of a groan, but at least you would have came out before and said, oh, this match is going to be in partnership with Army of the Dead and the lumberjacks are going to be zombies. You could have taken it as a joke and you would have known what it was going in, so you wouldn't be completely obliterated and surprised by it when it first happened. Now it leads us to the final story. Batista reacts to fans' criticism about the zombie lumberjack match at WrestleMania Backlash. The fans got to witness it, whatever the reasons were to promote the movie Army of the Dead, all that stuff. We just talked about that, right? And Batista did the cold open to the video package for the beginning, and he promoted the show. He even tweeted out during the show, they showed it on the broadcast, him tweeting out, it's like, I can't be there, but some of my friends are. That's what he said. He tweeted that out. So they're coming at him. Here's his Cody Allen on Twitter, says, hey Dave, I love you, but this zombie shit on the WWE Backlash show was insulting. And it really was. I tweeted something else, says that do we have Batista to thank for what we just saw? And you kind of do, because he's complaining about the Oscar booking, and then this happens, and it has to do with him, obviously, because it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't a pro wrestler before and in WWE, right? They wouldn't have done this partnership, because Zack Snyder has nothing to do with WWE whatsoever. So he says, WTF, you telling me you think I booked a bunch of effing zombies? I'm on a damn plane. Shouldn't you be tweeting Vince? True story, but Vince is obviously doing it because of the partnership, the brand, and whatever. Maybe even Peacock came up to him and said, okay, let's do this together. Let's do this cross promotion. But I guess some of the blame goes to Batista, because he's the only real reason probably why there's a connection between the two. Obviously, because he's in the movie, it's starring him, and he's a former WWE superstar, WWE Hall of Famer. So the combination of the two is obviously what brought this together. Again, the problem was they didn't announce this beforehand. They kind of just sprung it on you, like, oh, here's zombies in the lumberjack locker room, and then zombies come out and then they start fighting. If they would have booked it, or portrayed it like that on Monday Night Raws previously, that they were going to do a conjunction of Army of the Dead and the lumberjack match, then people would have been so surprised. People wouldn't have trashed it the way they did. Would have made more sense. But a disappointing match for a feud that some people were into, but for Damian Priest in general, because he got thrown into a gimmicky joke match, which he didn't deserve, he didn't need, it didn't help him in any way, shape, or form. And Chris Jericho was right. It does set back wrestling, I wouldn't say about 30 years, but we've seen different things. We've seen the zombie on the Sci-Fi, coming from Sci-Fi directly when ECW was there, and the rebirth of ECW from WWE. So this can be something that can really destroy something like Damian Priest run or something like that. At least he won the match. That's the only thing you can really hang your hat on there. But it wasn't good. But again, it's only happening because Batista is the star of the movie and he's a WWE Hall of Famer. It's the only reason it's happening. So obviously the hate tweets is going to go towards him because of that. People are going to blame him because that's the reason why it's happening, obviously. But guys, that's the wrestling news and rumors for today, May 17th, 2021. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tonight after Monday Night Raw for our Monday Night Raw review. You already know what time it is. Then tomorrow, 7:30 p.m., for the wrestling news and rumors for tomorrow, Tuesday, May 18, 2021. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to drop a like on this video so it helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Hit the chair in the corner for it hits you first, sub to the channel, notification bell, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.